When the facts bend reality, this is beyond plausible.
In the land that is home to centuries-old cedar trees on the misty mountains of the Siberian range, lies the source of the Lena River, the longest in Russia. However, for most of the year, its headwaters are covered under thick ice and cold snow. Only by April does the river begin to revive. Thus, it strives to make up for the lost time after a long winter slumber. The Lena River starts to swell and become turbulent. Water from melting ice flows downstream, breaking the last thin layers of ice. Ice flows and spring floods on the Lena River are truly a terrifying sight. Finally, it is time for all this water to rush downstream before reaching the seamouth. Here, they disperse into many small branches and channels, providing life to one of the world's largest river deltas. This video will take you to explore the wildlife in the water network of the Lena River Delta in the Arctic. Tid Airy Island at the end of May marks the beginning of the Delta region. Here, the large waters from the middle reaches of the Lena River have not yet arrived. Water levels are low, and the small rivers here are still frozen. But spring can already be felt on the banks of the Lena River. The sun is growing stronger each day. Due to the permafrost layer beneath the ground, water from melting surface ice cannot seep into the soil. Water fills mountain streams and rivers and then flows into the Lena River. But no matter how much there is, this water is still insufficient to fill the Lena River and break the thick ice. While the river awaits warm rays to melt the ice, the surrounding areas are teeming with countless Arctic flora. They paint bright colors into the otherwise dull landscape here. At this time, the Arctic hare begins to change its fur color. One hare is still running around in its conspicuous full winter coat. Another has already changed to a darker fur, blending into the surroundings. On sun-facing rocky slopes, a herd of muskoxen are leisurely basking in the sun. The muskoxen distributed in this cold Arctic region are known as black keep or helmeted muskoxen due to the dark fur on their heads. As diurnal and sedentary mammals, they endure harsh conditions here throughout the year. The sun's altitude plays a crucial role in the daily activity patterns of muskoxen. This muskox family has just awakened from a long winter sleep. As a favored prey for many carnivores, muskoxen rarely stray far from their herd to ensure safety from predators. On the riverbank, a snowy owl has found its nesting ground. The newly built nest is quite safe on a steep cliff. Eagles are the earliest residents of the delta to enter the breeding season. They are not afraid of the cold from ice, snow, and night frost. This female eagle is incubating her eggs. To prevent her clutch from freezing, the bird rarely leaves the nest. Its food is provided by a devoted husband. Voles are a perfect meal. These are small rodents resembling field mice. In spring, as the snow melts, voles start scurrying around on last year's remaining grass patches. They are particularly attracted to sandy areas along the riverbank. Dried algae often appear here. That is the vole's favorite food. It completely forgets that it is not alone in this place. The tiny vole is prey hunted by all predators of the tundra. In early June, the Great Flood finally reaches the delta. The river water level rises by 6 to 10 meters. The ice surface cannot withstand the pressure. It cracks, and the river begins to move. After accelerating along the river's length, massive ice chunks flow into shallow coastal waters and hit sandy mounds. They pile up and break into small fragments. Within minutes, mountains of ice debris grow along the coast. This scene looks like a miniature volcanic eruption, but without ash and lava being ejected. The ice is moving faster. Within a week, there will not be much ice left on the river surface. But for a long time, ice mountains and giant ice blocks stuck in shallow waters will remind the residents here of the ice drift spectacle. Tid Ari Island in Yakut means deciduous pine. This is the northernmost point where Dahurian larch grows. One of the most famous and widely known landmarks in this delta region is Stone Island. This is the highest point of the delta. With a height of 104 meters, Stone Island is known as a mountain with steep slopes. It is here that the river is freed from rocky banks before pouring into the vast delta and spreading in all directions across the wide tundra. Further north is an endless delta. From the mountaintop, we can see distant lands dissected by water. The Lena River divides into thousands of branches and channels, forming countless islands and lakes. When arriving here, people easily get lost in this magnificent landscape. Annually, the scenery of the Lena River Delta changes. This delta is also called the Land of Disappearing Islands. Among the many channels of the delta, only 3 main channels flow uninterrupted into the ocean. Those flows themselves are also large rivers. To the west of Stone Island is America Hayat Mountain. This mountain peak is named after American Arctic explorer George DeLong and his companions. 130 years ago, their ship Jeannette sank in the thick ice of the Arctic Ocean. In 3 small lifeboats, the entire crew sought a route to the Lena River Delta. But only one of the 3 boats escaped the deadly maze of the river system here. DeLong himself and his group died of starvation and severe cold on the Arctic plain. Just 40 kilometers from Stone Island. Since then, the landscape of the delta has remained the same, but the waterways have changed significantly. The rapid changes along the banks are due to the very structure of the delta. Here, you often encounter strange shores like this. The plain's composition consists of sand and peat covering the permafrost layer. Some ice cores will melt when summer arrives. And without the hard ice core for support, the weak peat masses can collapse at any time. Dozens of meters of coastline can disappear in just 1 year. The peat is sometimes over 6 meters thick. It is an accumulation of vegetation, mainly moss, that has hardly decomposed and has existed for thousands of years. Summer arrives on the plain in the latter half of June. The polar day is occurring right over the plain. The sun never leaves the horizon throughout the entire day. The tundra is covered in a lush green carpet and transforms into an Arctic paradise, with countless flowers in full bloom. Some flowers have just bloomed, while others have already withered. Everything here happens very quickly. Countless birds, large and small, flock to this land to find mates and reproduce. By early July, the birds have completed nest building. They nest in dry areas. The skua does not build a nest, it lays its eggs directly on the ground. On a hard ground surface chosen by the skua for nesting. Its 2 eggs are about to hatch. The chick is trying to free itself from the eggshell, but it seems the right moment has not yet come. A little more patience is needed. In the area where gulls nest, it's not hard to spot them from afar due to their distinctive calls. They nest on dry mounds around marshes to avoid threats from predators. Gulls are also not birds that build sturdy nests. They don't really need to. As soon as a gull chick hatches, just 1 day later, it can already go foraging with its mother. Among the many gull species in the Delta region, you might also encounter a very rare pink gull. It is an elegant and graceful bird. Far from the nest of the black-headed gull family, an ugly duckling from Anderson's tail has just been born. Tundra swans are very weak at birth. But just a few days later, they can already swim happily with their parents. Unlike gulls and ducks, swans prefer to live in pairs. They are animals that highly value territory. Even among siblings, territorial intrusion is hardly forgivable. Swans establish clear boundaries and will chase away strangers if they attempt to encroach. But the tundra is a harsh place. There are high costs to choosing a life without shelter. There is always a strange sound on the steppe. It is the call of the loon, also known as the diver bird. Their sound is emitted to warn of danger. But it feels as if someone is lamenting. The diver bird is an indispensable creature in the mythology of northern peoples. The cry and appearance of the bird are signs of abnormality. This is a black-throated loon. Loons have a total of 5 related species. Interestingly, they are the closest relatives to penguins. Scientists believe this bird is one of the most ancient bird species. They have existed on Earth for over 20 million years. On the riverbank, a family of sea eagles is settling. They breed before other birds in the Delta region. Eaglets are fed fresh meat by their parents from birth. Both male and female eagles take turns hunting to feed their young. The eagle returns to the nest with freshly caught prey. The male immediately sets off for the next hunting trip, while the female stays to feed the eaglets. Not far from the eagle's nest, another feathered bird has also built a nest and settled here. This is a family of snowy owls. The quite white and fearsome-looking animal is usually the male owl. Owlets are born with gray-black feathers. They have significant differences in size. Perhaps one hatched after the others. That is often the egg lying at the edge of the cold nest. The owl parents treat their weak offspring gently. Owls also eat voles. The number of surviving owlets depends on the amount of prey their parents catch. Another species that also loves eating voles is the Arctic fox. Here, the plains provide optimal conditions for this animal's life. They dig burrows in elevated areas and give birth. In June, the fox will give birth. Each litter, the mother fox usually gives birth to 6 to 8 cubs. In their first month of life, fox cubs do not venture far from their burrow. The fox cubs play under the supervision of the mother fox. Walking along the canals, you can find traces of people who once lived here. Long ago, the Arctic plains had their own civilization. The Evenk, Ivan, Yakut, and later Russians settled here. For those who come here in summer to fish, people lived in old houses. They were built from planks and logs brought by the river. Here, you can still see some ancient tools of hunters and fishermen. But now, the true masters of the house are agile and cute animals. In the Arctic, summer passes very quickly. By early August, the breath of autumn is clearly felt. The long days have ended. In the evening, the sun sets toward the horizon. In the morning, cold mist covers the river surface. The weather is changing noticeably. Strong winds frequently blow, causing dust storms. In the plains composed of sand and mud, sweeping winds can collapse everything. The Lena Delta constantly changes shape. The fox cubs have grown up and become bolder. Now they no longer hide in the burrow under the mother fox's protection. This fox family will soon disband. Young Arctic foxes will disperse across the tundra. The seagulls born in summer have also grown up. Their main task now is to learn to fly. Not far away, the sea eagle's offspring have succeeded in this. They have matured and are difficult to distinguish from their parents. Wild reindeer are not permanent residents of the plains. They migrate here from the south during the short summer. After a while, they will set off on their journey back. The Great Lena River formed a vast delta before flowing into the cold sea. The river creates a unique ecosystem along its course. Most of this delta is protected as the Lena River Plains Wildlife Reserve. What are your impressions of this vast plain? Please share your thoughts in the comments section.
Curious? Subscribe and step through the next anomaly.